I will call to order the Lowell Light and Power regular board meeting of April 14th, 2026 to order. Charlie, if you would do roll call.
Chairperson Beecham.
Here.
Vice Chair Founder.
Here.
Board Member Crawford.
Here.
And then Board Member Cadwalder and Board Member Straubin, both texted to let me know that they would be running late. So we anticipate seeing both of them later.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to excuse their absence.
So moved. Supported.
It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the agenda. Anything to change?
I'd like to add an item under action items, Chris, for special recognition.
So anyone you'd like, yeah.
Yeah.
Under action item,
Yes.
Action item E is going to be special recognition.
Okay,
Move to approve the agenda with the additional action item. It's supported.
it's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Approval of the minutes from March 10th, 2026. Entertain a motion?
Move to approve the minutes from March 10th, 2026.
Support. It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Safety moment.
So it's got it in the packet.
oh, you do?
Yeah, it should be.
Okay. Sorry.
Nope. So I've got the safety minute this month. Zach was going to, and he's gonna be, he's in a hockey practice right now, so he'll be joining us here in a little bit. I told him I would happily take the safety moment for it, but it's another spring safety moment. Megan covered spring driving safety tips, but thought about spring cleaning and fire safety just in general. My mind went to the outside, clean up dead leaves, things like that on your deck, stairs, around grills, things like that. Keep the grill away from the house, all that fun stuff. But it's also a good time as you're doing spring cleaning to check your home smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, look for frayed cords, water, anything that as you go through your house. The winter can put some strain on stuff, and as we start to migrate outside, just be aware and be safe. We'll need everybody here. Starts at home.
I'd like to add one thing that it is in the city ordinance not to burn trash or leaves or sticks. So make sure we're following that as well in your burn pits.
That is a
That we don't have because we
You
can't
can
have.
have a burn pit, it's just gotta be covered with a mesh tarp so that the embers
Oh.
don't go up and start the leads and your downspouts and
Gotcha.
stuff like that. So that was just.
No, I appreciate that. That's fantastic. That's the point of these, is to have a little bit of a conversation, good reminder, and that's a very timely reminder. So hopefully everybody stays safe as we enjoy the nice weather.
Okay, thank you. Public comment? Any public comment? Hearing none, we'll move on to action items.
All right, so first action item is Lowell Arts. We're joined by Janet. I think everybody is probably familiar. If not, this is Janet Tunis, Executive Director of Lowell Arts. We've talked about the mural a little bit here and there, kept the board up to date as to our conversations, but thought it would be a good idea to have Janet join us, describe the project. I know the board's had some questions about the process, things like that. So instead of me misrepresenting or something getting lost in translation, Janet's been gracious enough to join us. So I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Hi. Whoa, these are.
I was gonna say that.
Got nice wheels on.
Yeah.
They got the rollerblade wheels and you'll kind of disappear.
Okay. Yeah. So I just wanted to start, maybe just with an overview of the bigger project. I don't know if any of you, have seen it in the news or, I've shared at city council and at, the CDA, but, we've been, commissioned by the DDA to do a, public art initiative for the city of Lowell. So this is like long-term, we're here to stay, and we want to do public art where appropriate throughout the city for years to come. So in starting this this journey, we interviewed, did surveys just to find out what people wanted to see and do. So we've got a long list of projects that are going to keep us busy for years. But we decided to start off things with doing some murals. They're the most straightforward in terms of the wall is already there and painting on the wall, and it'll be very visible. And we've so far got only positive feedback from people are really excited to see what's in store. So we are kind of starting off with a bang because we're proposed to do 5 murals, and that was, I was a little hesitant at first, but you know, if you're gonna do it, just go all in. But it partly was actually a funding decision because we are going to be able to submit this project for approval for a grant, a matching grant through the NEDC. So you may have heard of Patronicity. It's a crowdfunding platform. They have a program that we can be accepted to, but it needs to be a big enough project to get noticed. So, so that's where the 5 murals came in. But before we needed some seed money to start that because we don't want to depend just on that. So the Lowell Area Community Fund has stepped up with a gift. So we felt comfortable moving forward with the plan. So kind of simultaneously with planning the murals, we're also working with the city to get a public art policy in place so that, you know, here on out, we've got all the steps and you know, have thought of all the details. So it's been a lot of moving parts. So just to let you know where we are in the process right now, we put out an RFQ on an artist site that we use pretty regularly and through our regular channels. And we were blown away by the number of people. We had 197 responses to our RFQ. So artists from locally and from around the country who, a lot of them do murals on a regular basis. And they were excited to put their hat in the ring. And so we did narrow that pool down, and we assigned 3 artists to each of the 5 mural sites. And so they've been commissioned to present a design for that mural site. For all 5 mural sites, we had a design brief, so very specific, like this is what we're looking for. And of course, the Lowell Light and Power was one of those sites. And I think, Charlie, maybe you share a little bit of.
Yeah, I've shared the wording.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, so that is underway. The 3 artists are busy working on their proposals, and we will get them by the end of the week, actually. So we've been working closely with the historic district as well. So we've got another meeting in there with them. And we also have a selection committee formed to pick the best mural for the sites. So we're super excited. But we did all that preliminary work because in order to apply for the MEDC funds, it was a long road to get to the spot, but we are really excited that it's going to be a reality. So the month of August is when the work would be done. So the artists have, you know, a range in terms of how long. I was actually surprised that some of them don't really need that long, like a week, to, you know, put the mural up. So June and July, we'll be doing our Patronicity campaign. We'll be prepping the sites with like just priming them. If it's a brick wall like the one at Lowell Light and Power, the 2 sites that are in the historic district, we're going to be doing the murals on panel. which will be then affixed.
Fixed, okay.
Yeah, quite similar to the one that's there, on the north
Trails, yeah.
trail building. So, yeah, so then, we'll get that all in place and then the murals will come in the month of August and there we go.
I was curious as to how you were gonna do that. I was wondering if you were just, going to try to get, designs from individual artists and then have them applied, but yeah, this sounds like you've got people that are in the mural business that know how to do this, and yeah.
I feel much better the fact that you said you're going to maybe put these on a board and be hung on there like the trails, because in my research, when I was looking at existing buildings, bricks, so many variables can cause earlier deterioration because of the structure of the building. If it's not insulated properly, the heat cold between it, the contrast. Michigan has tough winters. So when I was talking to Mike Burns about it, I'm sure that, hey, let's address this, because Hastings is an example. When I attend these meetings, they have one that just held up perfectly. The other one, there's quite a bit of maintenance has to be on a regular basis. So, so I'm glad that you guys are looking at an alternative option to hang them versus
Yes,
tying them right to
yeah.
surfaces.
So that's just in the 2 historic sites.
Okay.
So the one that's proposed for Low Light and Power would be directly on the brick.
Right, yeah, that I did.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Good. Yeah, and we are gonna build into the budget of maintenance,
mhm.
some money to be able to touch up as needed. Hopefully there won't be any vandalism, but I guess there is like a material that they make that you like coat it. It's called Vandal Guard.
Oh, that's phrased back at them as they come. It's in a movie or something. Yeah.
So, anyway, so yeah, I'm still working out all of the like kind of, when I say the legal aspects, I'm not a lawyer, but I've been doing some research on what might need to go into a contract and agreement, with the site owners. So you guys are one, there's just one other, private owner, and then there's 2 city sites. And it's interesting because I always thought that like somebody would have to own this thing, like who owns it? And it really doesn't ever come out and say that. You essentially will own it, because it's your wall. So the artwork has some protections because there's laws about copyright and that sort of thing, but I mean, it's just paint on a wall. So we both are kind of in this together, like we want it to look good for a long time. So we will hopefully make sure that it does. And then in the case, and this is where the legalities come in a little bit, like there might be a moment in time that we're like, hey, the sun is just beating on this thing and it can't keep it up, and we just need to paint over it.
Fades away.
Yeah. So
Chocolate.
So my one question, and Charlie and I talked about it, is because in my mind was like, oh, I want this mural, and I want to give the opportunity for other artists to put murals up. So my thoughts, again, this was just speaking, just in a casual conversation, was how long would they be replaced every year? Is it 3 years? Is it 5 years? Is it indefinitely? Again, because for me, I'm going like, oh, I want other artists to be able to be involved, et cetera. And so, if it changed every year, I'd be going Yahoo, but
Yeah.
So those are just some questions that I have.
yeah, and I don't have a concrete answer other than I think it would be not typical that you would change it every year. But I think that that's a fair comment that, you might want to have something new sometime. And I would say that probably most likely it would stay for a long period of time. And like, I really enjoyed the use of mural that's on the Country Trail building. But it's been up for 10 years, so maybe that would be a spot where we would decide, well, let's change it up and do a different piece here. So I would say, yes, there could be some change up, but it wouldn't be as quick as that.
Right.
But I will also say that, we're already, I'm just trying to get this summer under control, but people are like, what are you gonna do next summer? And we do want to continue to do things. And so what is the next project? You need money, yeah. But there could be other more temporary sculptures that would involve more artists, artists from the community where something's up for a very short amount of time. So anyway.
Like, I'll give you an example, the city of Hastings, they get artists maybe from downtown to Art Prize. They'll let them bring their statues down or whatever, and they'll be on the streets, and if you wish to buy it, they might be there for a year, so the artist gets his name. So there's a lot of things that we can do that. We'll do just that. So I'm looking forward to, this is just phase one, and let's see what happens in phase two, phase three.
Yeah.
As long as you're director, right?
Yeah, maybe.
And from our perspective, one of the things that just I think the art is very interesting. I think it's great from a public power value perspective. We're very rooted in the community, and I think having the opportunity to participate in a community enrichment project like this is great. But aside from that, it's an opportunity to address the ugly end of our building. I'd call a spade a spade. It's hard to prioritize things like that when you've got system needs everywhere. So it's an opportunity for us to say, hey, you got some prep work that you need to do at the site. Can we pile on? Can we take care of some other needs on the building? So from a structural standpoint, it's nice to it's an opportunistic time to take care of some building maintenance. But also it takes that area that used to be an interior wall. The brick was not designed to be an exterior wall. So it allows, from an operational and practical standpoint, it checks some boxes for us. But even without those, I think the value that it brings to the community, the alignment between public power and a grassroots type of community enrichment, it makes a lot of sense for us as a utility to participate in this. We celebrate 130 years this year. We've been around a long time. I think it'd be great to participate.
I want to interrupt just for a second, just because we're recording. Tina and Andrew both arrived approximately 6:17, and they're here for the first action item.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do want to say that with this project, Lowell Arts have never done anything that was ugly. You guys always did a Class A job, whatever you did. So this board member supports what your ideas are. Let's look at moving forward. I came in late. I don't know what the presentation was. I just want to say that Lowell Arts always did a Class A job, and I always loved whatever you did. So, bravo to you.
Yeah, thank you.
I hope one of the murals reflects the fact that in a few years, we're gonna be celebrating the 200th anniversary in 2031 of the city of Lowell. So, be nice to see something now. Maybe it's not this one, but the next year or the following, we got several years to go there, but it's around the corner. And how does that reflect the history of Lowell, 200 years?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea. Unfortunately, sometimes those things age out real quick. And then, I don't know, did you bring to the table ideas?
So
Sorry, I missed it.
no, all I shared was that each of the 5 mural sites, each had a design theme that we selected. So the one for Low Light and Power is more conceptual about electricity and energy.
Oh my gosh.
So that will be cool.
Doesn't have the electric
Super
chair
cool.
in it.
Doesn't.
More quite this time.
Even the pyramid just go dark,
Very good.
keeping Oakwood, keep
Yeah.
Oakwood occupied.
Yeah.
Super cool.
So, yeah, and we haven't officially like done an announcement, but it's gonna be coming soon, but, cause May 1st is the, date in which we're letting the artists know that they've been selected. And so I've been just a little bit more quiet about like the sites, and it's not like a big secret, but it's more fun to be like, surprise, here it is. But
Fun. That's fun. Yeah.
Okay,
so.
any other questions? I mean, this doesn't need any action from us.
Okay.
No, it's more or less, what I'm just looking for is an opportunity for the board to have the opportunity to hear directly from Janet. Address any concerns that may have come up, and more than anything, want to make sure that when the time does come to hit the formal contract, that it's not a surprise for the board, the questions are answered. And, the hope is that when we get to that, it's more about, hey, what's on a piece of paper, and we can hand that over to the attorneys to review, and we can be done with it. But my goal today was just to conceptually get the board, give them the opportunity to engage directly, and make sure that we're not sending, not committed at this point a little bit, but want to make sure that we're not sending Lowell Arts down a wild goose chase. But yeah, no action needed today. Okay.
Well, thank you very
Yeah,
You can stay if you want. Like,
Yes,
we
yes,
won't go there about 11 o'clock, you know.
Thank you for coming back.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Did you want, drink, water?
I'm good.
Chris? Okay,
All right, on to the next. It's just a day of guests.
Yeah.
So, obviously we have, a new face at the table. This is Chris Glass. He's with, is it Gallagher?
Benefit services.
I didn't know that. I've always heard it as referred to as just Gallagher.
Yeah.
So, that's the brokerage firm that represents, I don't know what your appropriate firm is. They manage the pool, which is, the health insurance option that the city's with. Chris is gonna be here today to, kind of just introduce you to the pool, but, as the board's aware, we have spent quite a bit of time over the last year or so, evaluating new brokers. The board's aware of, kind of circumstances that led us to start, exploring what options were out there. So we met, Sarah did a great job and started incredibly broadly. Daniel was able to join us on very short notice, for our final meetings, but it started months before that. And Sarah did a great job exploring kind of all the options. Some of the feedback we got from the board was desire to really turn over every stone to understand what options are out there, whether it was small town broker that might be willing to work with us, a large type broker like a BHS, and then everything in between, different structures, different plan designs across the board. Everything was up for consideration. So we are happy to make the recommendation to the board today to move our entire employee benefits package to Gallagher, with the main driver in that being that it would move our health insurance to the pool, West Michigan health insurance program. It's a very different structure. I'll let Chris get into it, but some of the things as Chris goes through his presentation to keep in mind, some major benefits of this. Cost as a driver, obviously, benefits are not cheap. But I think probably even more importantly for this board and the approach that the board has taken in delivering benefits is it provides us more flexibility to enrich the benefits package. We recognize that we have to compete with other employers based on the benefits package. By moving to the pool, it's going to provide a good opportunity to again save money, but also improve the quality of insurance we're able to provide. Be an opportunity to move away from an HMO plan to PPO plan, some of the plan design around prescription drugs is more a more robust offering, and then Chris will also get into some of the value-added services that are unique to pool type structures where we're all in this together. So makes everybody kind of a consumer of insurance, and if we're all pulling in the right direction, everybody wins. And some of these value-added services are really a way to improve the quality of care that people receive, but also streamline that care to the most appropriate location, help control costs. So there's a lot of things that are very, very attractive to this. There's some unique challenges. Currently our plan year runs from July 1 through June 30th. All full plans are calendar year plans. That's a minor hiccup. We've already talked through quite a bit of the process. It's concerning in the fact that it would be a 6-month, you'd have a full deductible for 6 months before everybody roll into a full plan year. So you've got every employee would be exposed to 2 full deductibles across 18 months instead of across 24 months. But those are things that we can address from an administrative perspective. And just to set the stage for the conversation, no formal actions being requested this month. But ultimately we're looking for a consensus from the board, because what we're looking to do starting tomorrow, I think, is assuming board support, is to start the process to update our agent of record with all of the different carriers. And that's what ultimately gives Chris and Gallagher the authority and visibility into all of the group. And that's when they become exactly what it says, is they're our agent of record at that point. So again, no formal approval needed today, but we are really looking for board consensus, because next month we'll come back, or staff will come back. We won't ask Chris to come back again for a second month, but we will come back next month with formal plans. And those plans will need to be adopted so that we can jump into the open enrollment process and kick that off running next month. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Chris. Thanks for joining us.
All right, yeah, thank you, and appreciate the time. When Charlie was saying, hey, would you mind coming to the meeting, he did reference that Janet would be here. And I said, we're gonna let Janet go first. That's okay. We don't need her sitting through a health insurance presentation. But it is exciting. I do like to come to these conversations because rarely do you have decent news about health insurance, right? Costs are just rising. You're diminishing plans. You're worried about retention of employees, all of those things. And today we're going to have a little bit different story with that, which I'm excited to share. I'd also echo what Charlie said. I mean, we started in the fall having conversations with Sarah and then Julie and then Charlie. And it's clear that they care about one service and they care about their employees. And like a lot of the members that we have in the pool, that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve public entities across the state. So it's going to be a great fit for your employees that are joining the pool. If we can go, do you want me to give you the neat?
Yeah, I would say whatever works.
You know, the bullpen thing here, right?
Yeah.
So one of the unique aspects and the fun thing about the pool itself, it started with 8 school districts in West Michigan 20 years ago. They sat around a table like this and they said, insurance costs are on the rise. Is there anything we can do about it? And in insurance, size is everything because it's a risk business. The bigger you are, you can spread risk and you can lower all the indirect costs to provide a lower rate. When you're on your own and you're a small entity, things can fluctuate quickly, and then you're having to adjust either budgets, which we know are limited, or you have to hit benefit.
Yeah.
So their whole thought process, and this is right, Penn ISD, Rockford, East Grand Rapids, eventually Lowell area schools. Those 8 came together and they said, let's do this. Let's have this partnership for the purposes of first and health insurance. They actually have state law passed. So only public entities in the state of Michigan are eligible to join this pool.
Wow.
The members, every single entity, no matter what size, is actually has a seat on the board of directors. So that means, right, you'll have a resolution at some point that will appoint the trustee that will serve on the pool board. They'll have official voting rights. And unlike a traditional insurance program where they say, hey, here you go, this is what you get, our pool board actually formally approves the rate increases each and every year. which is a little unique thing when you think about the insurance world. So those are the three pillars. Anybody in the public servant space, right? Providing public good, member focus, value, trust. Those are all key pillars and things that drive our work. If we go to the next slide, what started as those 8, now 20 years later, there's 270 different entities, including the city, right, that are in the pool, and 150 school districts, and now 114 municipal groups, 13 higher education. So why does this matter, and why is it a great fit for you? The pool is now covering 26,000 public employees across the state of Michigan for health insurance purposes. With dependents, so children and spouses, 56,000 people are getting their coverage.
It's bigger than GM, why?
It's right. So there's a lot coming in. There's a lot of bills being paid for doctors and pharmacy, and there's great care being provided as a result of members in it. This is the biggest thing. Our goal each and every year, we're going to talk about initial savings of coming into the pool because of the model, and we're going to talk about plan enhancements. But probably even more importantly than that is year over year, we continue to beat the trend of what you can get directly with Blue Cross Blue Shield or Priority Health.
Okay.
And the reason is they have fat within their cost structure. On our side, what we're able to do is we're able to get some of the indirect costs down. And so we work directly with Blue Cross. We're the largest customer in West Michigan with Blue Cross Blue Shield. We're a very large customer of Priority Health. And as a result of our size, they lower their administrative costs for our membership within the pool.
Mhm.
Yep. Here's what you need to know. The costs continue to rise, and that's small print. But what I will tell you is Blue Cross as well as Priority Health have gone to the state of Michigan, and they have to file rates for small groups under 50 and for the individual marketplace. Both continue to adjust, but both are solidly in the double-digit increases of what has been the trend for the last couple of years. And that's really a struggle overall of what's happening with the insurance world, to where hospitals and doctors are asking for more. Insurance companies realize they have to negotiate those contracts because they can't just pass unlimited costs on to the members. And so we're in, a pretty unique spot, but a tough spot that there's probably not a lot of relief in sight. So our model really does provide, it insulates it. It doesn't fix it. It's not going to cure everything, but it provides a little bit of financial relief for our members while still having great care. So what we're talking about right now, if we were to mirror your plans and say from a deductible and co-insurance perspective, if we're going to offer the 2 plans that are in existence, we're showing you there what your renewal annual cost would have been. It would have been around a 14% increase for this upcoming year. So your spend would have been around $203,000. Your pool cost for those plans, which are an enhancement, is $171,000. So that shows good financial stewardship, and that shows the value of the pool. What Charlie referenced, for those who may not live in the insurance world, right now, your plans are on an HMO, which means if you want to go see a specialist, you need to have a referral from your primary care doctor. In the pool, they're PPO plans. So if somebody needs to see a specialist, they can just go to the specialist. You're going to see better, especially for specialty drugs and brand drugs, better coverage and lower costs for employees. And probably most significantly, when we think about the people doing work for public service, it's the out-of-pocket maximums that are dramatically lower than what you can get from an off-the-shelf small group plan in the market right now.
And I'm going to interject just real quick. Board, keep in mind the savings that you see, because I know the last time we shifted insurance and got savings, the board wanted to return some of that benefit to the employees. Keep that in mind when we go into closed session at the end of the meeting. We'll discuss some thoughts for that. So just so preempt that conversation, because I'd imagine it's coming at some point.
Oh, yeah.
So that to be more to come later in the evening.
Membership with the resolution, state law does require a 3-year commitment. So with that being said, I don't see it being an issue at all. We have 280 members now, and we've had 6 that have left the pool and 4 have returned. So tenure, if the system works, and we have groups all the time that say, hey, we're going to go look at other options. We've fulfilled our 3-year commitment. but they go to the market and they can't find a better rate or they can't find a better answer to what their challenges are. So we feel really good about that. If we go to the next slide. From a service perspective, this is very important to us. We got now over a team of 20. They only work with members within the pool, so the public entity space. I know Sarah had a chance and Julie had a chance to have conversation with Rocio as well as JP and myself, who will be working on your guys' account. I know it's important that we talk to the team, that there's some face-to-face visibility and open enrollment time, accessibility of employees to get questions answered. I gave my commitment on that, right? And I think one of the challenges you have had as a group is sometimes if you're not big and mighty and you're not generating a lot of commission for an insurance agency, they tend to forget about you a little bit and the service seems to lack. So just know that's not going to be an issue with us. We got four employee villages out there.
They're right here in the US of A.
Oh, they're all in Michigan, and the majority of them are right in our Grand Rapids office. So it's a great team. Value-added benefits, this is the last thing Charlie alluded to. Because of our size, we have the opportunity to put free programs in place to help support employees. And we call them value-added programs, but employees can opt into them. It's their own choice to do so. But the first three that we started with were all around diabetes. In support of that, Berta is actually a diabetes for type 2 reversal program, one of the few that are out there, which we've had great testimonials on. But you have second opinion programs. You have, folks who have aches and pains and skeletal issues. And I've used the Hinge Health program myself to deal with plantar fasciitis. We actually just got outreach from the Mayo Clinic, and they want to partner with us to where there's specific diagnoses and cancers in particular that they have a tremendous track record of cures and different treatment plans. So if somebody in the pool gets one of those diagnoses, unfortunately, there's going to be outreach done where that individual can go in person to the Mayo Clinic to get a second opinion about their care journey. So those are all things that kind of come with the size that we are to provide a better value proposition and better program for employees.
That's it. And a couple of things I just wanted to add, based on conversations we had. One of the things that is attractive to us is the partnership of other utilities that are part of it, other entities. Again, Chris stressed it. I think it can't be stressed enough, the fact that the other people that are other entities that participate in the pool have similar values. They look similar to us. They're not profit-driven type organizations. They tend to be schools, municipalities. So being a part of that group and then hearing things like, 6 have left and 4 have come back tells me that if our motivations are similar, our values are similar, the product works. I'm personally not interested if he'd have said that, hey, we're all for-profit manufacturers and 6 have left and 4 have come back, that's great. But I know that there's a difference in primary focuses. The for-profit companies are going to be more financially motivated. So the cohesion of the group, the homogeneousness of the fact that we're all very similar. And then on top of it, the people that we know personally that are part of it, the fact that the school system, the city, we looked at moving to the pool when the city did. At the time, it was not advantageous. So we said, hey, we'll hold off and we'll give it a few years, and here we are. But the fact that we talked to Mike and talked to the city about their experience, the school system, Holland is moving there, Marquette, across the board, there's a lot of utilities migrating that way that we're very familiar with, have relationships with. So outside of the relationship that we've developed with Gallagher, we have additional resources at our disposal that just make it advantageous for us to go this route. And then when you tack on financial savings, more robust benefits or benefit enhancements, the picture kind of painted itself by the time we were all said and done, which that's always a good thing. And I'll say, and I know, Daniel, you participated in our meetings, the last round of meetings. I don't know if there's anything you saw or something that stood out, but For me, it's kind of the path led us this way. We didn't let an end goal, I guess, or an end determination dictate the process. The process kind of dictated where we landed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton to add on it. I think you guys were more intimate with the details of it and really flushed out, like, you know, how all the problems that came with any change and the opportunities and yeah, I thought either kind of way we went would be probably a step up from where we were, but I think it was hard to ignore the advantages of the pool, even though it is kind of a bit of a change from our way that we've been doing insurance.
Yeah.
But I think some of the advantages that come with it are just hard to ignore. Really, I mean, go to like a PPO. I think that's huge. I think, you know, having a unique opportunity to join a group that size of what we can join is, I don't know. We're in a lucky position, I think, to be a muni that can do that and have that option. Otherwise, we would just we just go from this insurance broker to this insurance broker and hope for the best. In 2 years, it might get wildly out of control again. And maybe we have to do it every 2 to 3 years, 4 or 5 years. And hoping that this doesn't do that. Yeah.
One of our main goals in going into the evaluation was trying to avoid a year by year tweak and modify approach, which is what a lot of companies have to do when there's always changes. But this was the opportunity to get on a path, you know, where most of the time but most of the time in my career, insurance decisions have been very reactionary. It's get your renewal, determine if you can swallow the pill or you need to reshape what the pill looks like. And more times than not, you're unhappy with either the pill you have to swallow with the increase, or you're unhappy with what it's going to take to keep the increase at a manageable level from a benefit standpoint. So this is an option that I think makes a lot of sense based on the values that the board has embraced with making sure our benefits are a competitive advantage from an employer perspective. This allows us to consistently provide similar benefits without the same level of concern that the surprise rate increase is going to make a change necessary. So stability was such a big piece of going into this, and the pool really at its core, it provides stability, and that's ultimately the only thing more valuable than stability is the actual quality of the benefits, you know, in my view. So it makes a lot of sense, and I'm confident that this is a decision that once we get past the inevitable struggles of the transition, it puts us on a path for many years to provide quality benefits at as stable an expense as possible. So that's all I had. Again, no formal vote necessary this month, but the expectation, you know, the anticipation is we're gonna break plan designs next month. And if, you know, the goal is obviously to mirror the current plans as close as possible, minimize the disruption to our employees, but you know, to keep the train on the tracks, we'll need approval next month. So if there's any questions, concerns, now's your opportunity. If something comes up between now and the next board meeting, please don't wait till the next board meeting. Reach out to me immediately. I can get Chris involved, and we can address any concerns or questions you have, because you know, that the May meeting is going to be necessary to take action so that we can take advantage of the opportunity.
So I got a question. So to get down to the meat and potatoes of what you're offering, do we have to go to closed session to talk about it? Is that what the deal is, or? Okay.
No, today was more just here's structure and here's the pool. The actual offering will be a very similar, it'll be a plan design to the employee. It essentially won't look any different to them. They'll have the same, whether we go with Priority Health or Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Right.
But it'll be a Priority Health, insurance card. I think it's got the pool on it or something. The
Little logo at the top right.
Yeah, but really for the goal is, from an offering standpoint, it's very similar to what we currently have from the employee perspective and the employee's experience. Plus, there will be some things, some value added services that we'll get into during open enrollment with the actual employees league.
Okay, so I guess my question is, I can't, are we, so what did we have before, and what are we getting? There's 270,000 people that are in the public servant pool,
There's 270 groups.
270
We're
groups.
covering 26,000 employees.
Okay, so, and that's called the public servant pool.
It's just called the pool, the Western Michigan Health Insurance Pool. Yeah.
Okay, and so that's, and that's schools, electric company, city
Counties.
workers,
Road Commission,
county, okay.
community colleges.
So my question is, and that's the reason why I was asked if I need to go into closed session, is I really want to know. It sounds like a great deal. I'm in that sector. And you're trying to find that sweet spot. You're wiggling around, okay, can I do this? Can I do that? So I guess what I wanted to know is the past insurance like $1,500 one person, $3,000 family deductible at first, is the RX, prescription drug, is that part of the deductible?
Yeah, so-
I don't mean, I just wanna know.
Yeah, and I think the quick answer for you is, I always struggle doing presentations like this of throwing the side-by-side illustration up
Of
because
course.
you can't read them, right?
Yeah.
But Charlie has a copy of it, and
Okay.
the good part is in the pool, we have unlimited flexibility plans.
Okay,
So we can go any direction, right? Some groups say, hey, there's savings there. We want to reinvest it into a more quality benefit. Some groups say, hey, there's savings. We have contract negotiation and there's other things that we want.
and there are some groups that, like Lowell Empowerment, that would need more of I need to go to the chiropractor.
Yeah.
I want a chiropractor adjustment than the pool of ladies that's, they're doing other work, you know what I'm saying? So that's my driving. Also, my favorite rider that I love to play with is the BT rider. So that you can, it's really a bargaining chip. So when I hire somebody here from Lowell Power, that this is a young man that's standing there and he's not married, and we just say, look, we have all these great benefits. And if you have Jan that's been living with you for the past 10 years, that's kind of affidavit, and she can be right on your insurance. You don't have to marry her. I love that benefit. That's a great bargaining chip. When we're hiring people.
Yeah, that is an eligibility rule to where it is, it's got to be a spouse.
Right, and
Yeah.
it doesn't cost us anything to have it there until you put that spouse onto that policy. So that was the type of pool riders, that's not gonna cost us anything. Like, well, what you showed us, that was great, that's within the cost of what we have with the ideas. But like the DP rider, that doesn't cost us anything until somebody is signed up for it. Is there any other type of riders that, that you can come to the table and go, well, we got this one too, or.
So from a general sense, I do know what you're saying. From a general sense, they do have, from a quality benefit offering of what's out there, solid benefits, right? So if we talk about chiropractic or speech or occupational or physical therapy visits, those sort of things, absolutely. We got different things within that. Dependents stay on until the end of the month of their 26th birthday.
Okay, or we can move it to the end of the year.
You cannot move to the end of the year, because there's some things that are, right, organized, it has to be administered the same across the groups.
I didn't know if this pool brought us to a different level of rules. I don't get that rule,
Yeah.
so.
And I'm happy to,
Okay.
provide that kind of detail so you have a handle on it. And to the extent we want to make plan adjustments,
Because the amount that you showed up there, which is fabulous. If we're looking at this, that's great, but I will not be able to swallow that these people have got now a $2,500 one person.
no, it's the same.
Blah, blah, blah.
So
Okay,
right now, you have two plans that you're offering right now. One's a
Okay.
lower deductible PPO with co-pays, which I think the majority, it's a slim majority, but the majority are on that plan. You then have the minimum high deductible,
Okay,
and that's mirroring what that is. And I think there's 4 individuals right now who are enrolled in that plan. who are high deductible. So there's options there for them.
okay.
And then to the extent we wanted to make tweaks or adjustments or say, hey, how do we, right now you got a plan with 80% co-insurance. If we said, hey, we want to look at 90, now there's a cost increase to that
Right.
because then it's
Absolutely.
enhancement, but we can do all that. We can put those out there.
You'll have the maximum cap, everything all laid out so
Yep.
that, like what I look at. obviously,
Yeah.
Benefit back, so I can. Sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what we talked about when we started was mirroring our current plans.
Yeah.
Minimizing the change in benefits. So we have the flexibility to modify benefits and as Chris said, we have a lot of control over the plan design.
Yeah.
But our focus with this change was let's minimize any disruption to employees, knowing that our health insurance is good, from a benchmarking perspective. It's a leading type of plan, but it's not. So we didn't want to go back. Obviously, we don't want to slip in benefits.
No,
But we're looking for more stability.
but I didn't want.
We're not chasing a savings immediately because we have financial struggles or anything like that. We're focused on how do we provide the best benefits at the lowest cost and provide the most stability.
Absolutely.
Ultimately is how do we minimize disruption? So from a plan
Yeah.
design, what actually the experience of the employee should be very similar with the pool as it was with directly priority health.
In an example, like the out-of-pocket max, right? We're matching the deductible of 500,000. Your existing plan, if you're a family, your out-of-pocket max is 18,200. For the same plan design within the pool, we're talking about an out-of-pocket max of 9,000. It's cutting.
So it
in
went
half.
from 18,000 to 9,000.
Correct.
So these are all the plan enhancements
That's
that,
amazing.
yeah.
That's good right there.
So
This is why when I said the picture kind of painted itself, when there's things like, hey, the out-of-pocket max is gonna get cut in half.
Mhm.
Plan, the cost is a nice savings, which provides flexibility for the board to return some of that value to the employees. So from a benefit quality, from a plan flexibility, from a stability standpoint, the employees win, the company wins, the community wins. It's a very rare win-win situation in the insurance world.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So before anybody decides which plan they want to go to, A or B, are they able to go on the system and punch in and say, oh, is my Ozempic covered? You know what I'm saying? So that they punch in for a prescription drug plan sector.
Yeah.
You and I both know that there's some
So
money wrong.
we use Express Scripts,
Okay, welcome.
which is with priority health, right? And every prior authorization carries over when you transition into the pool. So there's nobody who's gonna have, they'll see a reduction in the fact that the RX card is better. And especially with those higher cost drugs than what your plan has now. But they won't have a concern of something won't be covered. It's the broadest offering that priority has with this formulary.
So they will be able to go on the system before they make that choice.
Yeah,
Because
I actually asked them to just email me.
Inhaler that
Yeah.
sometimes some inhalers are not.
Yeah, if it's covered now, it'll be covered. If it's covered now with priority health, it will be covered when you transition to full priority health.
I just want
I know, but and I'm glad you.
these people are my people.
Yeah.
So, Okay, I do have to say to the board that my findings with this gentleman here, I work for Blue Cross Blue Shield and account services. Gallagher's always been a great bunch of people for me to work with. I've never had a problem with them. We'll talk later who it is. But no, but definitely, I'm glad that Gallagher came to the table, and in the small group sector, that's what I deal with every day. So, but I really like for you to look at getting that squeezed in there and, the writer that I want for our marketing show. Because not every company gives that to their people, and I'm.
Yep.
And that's nice to have. But I appreciate that you're here and, and I know that my question, sometimes my tone was a little not nice, but I appreciate that, you did really well.
Thank you.
So that's the end of my interrogation,
Perfect.
until I see the things work.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have some benefit summary guys for it. I know you'll like. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, have a good night.
I had a question about, there's something about appointing the trustee. What's that mean?
Oh, that's their board of directors. So as a pool, every participating community has a seat on their board, and they call their board members trustees.
Well, so they have 270 trustees.
Yes.
Yes. I did think about that.
I mean, they
Yeah.
have 270 groups. So
Yeah, they have 270
That's a
groups.
lot of trustees there.
Yeah, and they, if I had to guess, the majority of work is done in some sort of executive committee, or smaller subsection of that board. Yeah, to be able to try and negotiate, talk with 270. But yeah, it seemed to make Sarah and Julie did a much deeper dive, but all road kind of pointed towards the pool. The other entity that we were talking with really focused on service, and their service was going to be phenomenal. They could offer a lot of consulting type of services, but at the end of the day, we were going to be hamstrung by the opportunities, and we were going to be stuck in the fully insured market, and the fully insured market is just tough for small groups. So
It is tough.
yeah, this is the one opportunity we have to long-term help control our expenses. So, and it doesn't come with the sacrifice of benefits. And I think that was important for us going into it, is we don't want to sacrifice benefits. We need to make sure that our package continues to be a competitive advantage.
Okay, any other questions? Let's move on to social media policy.
All right, so included in your packet is a copy of an updated social media policy. Your board packet also includes our current social media policy, which is not necessarily a policy. It's in the employee handbook. It focused more on guidance than anything. If you read it, it's not a thou shall, thou shouldn't, thou won't type of thing. But obviously I've updated the board as well on some challenges we've had with, our social media platforms being used to potentially defame people. And because of that, we took a deeper dive into the policy. We worked with our legal counsel, and our legal counsel drafted the policy that's included in your board packet. The policy is more robust, and it's not just an employee policy, it's employees. It covers employees making private posts. It covers how we will handle our social media, and it also governs how the public interacts with us, which is important. Happy to answer any questions, but ultimately what staff is proposing is to adopt the social media policy as a standalone policy, not embedded in an employee handbook or anything, but just a simple standalone policy. That way, any place the employee handbook would essentially just reference this new policy. I will highly encourage the board not to make adjustments to the policy, because there are legal pitfalls around every corner with making sure we don't infringe on anybody's, civil rights, freedom of speech. So, the policy was crafted by an attorney to make sure that we don't step off into, an area that we're not interested in. Because the intention is not to stifle anybody's ability to engage with us, but it is, the goal is to ensure that we can leverage our social media as an effective means of communication, not a platform for somebody out there in the public to spout off about things that are unrelated or potentially defamatory or a whole host of other issues that have come up.
So, so if I repost something from Lowell Power website to my private Facebook page, do I have to put this posting represents my own views and does not represent Lowell Power?
No, because that's a quote at that point, is the way I look at it. It's be more
If I made it.
if I got onto a Light and Power post and said, this is the greatest thing in the world, that's my personal opinion reflecting on it. So at that point, it would just be these are my own views, not official.
So if I comment on something,
if it's an opinion, I mean, it
like, go team, yay, I like this. So I don't have to
no,
put that
no,
disclaimer.
if we were, no, and I think this is a good thing to flush out, what I think an easy, the bookends are always easier to paint the picture. If we were going through a rate increase, big discussion about a rate increase, and the board is saying, hey, we gotta do this, we've gotta do this, and you get on social media and say, this rate increase is garbage. That's when it would be, hey, this
When
is
it's about
your personal
policy,
opinion, it's
about policy.
But as far as, I mean, if you wanna hop on and say, great job, team, for going to Alpena to help, you're never gonna hear me complain. I think that's awesome, so.
The only thing I would add to that, if you think that you're not following the policies, ask.
Yeah, and I
You
think,
know,
yes.
just,
And I think luckily, we try to use social media
right.
to highlight the positive side of things. We're opposite of the world. The rest of the world goes on social media to complain. We go on to say, great job, Zach. Great job, guys. Appreciate the help. We like to highlight the good. So hopefully the circumstances are few and far between where it's really applicable, but I would agree with Jim. If it's in doubt, we can talk about it. Confident we can work through. And if it's questionable, it's probably worth a good conversation anyways, just to make sure that we are on the same page. But.
And this gives us the right to go in and take things off if they're.
Yes. Yes, if they're in violation of our policy, it gives us control over our own domains.
Without this kind of policy stuff, it would get into First Amendment.
It gets into some very gray issues when you start to. It's a gray area to start with.
Yeah.
So we're trying. What we're doing is saying what went to our legal counsel and said what's worked elsewhere. What's been challenged? We don't want to plow new ground. We're not looking to be the first, we're not looking to be the pointy end of the spear. We're looking to be somewhere in the back end, open to let everybody else figure out what can work, what doesn't work. And that's really what this was geared towards is what's worked for other people without going into uncharted territory.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, I would entertain a motion to, on the social media policy.
Yeah, I'll move to adopt the staff's recommendation to approve the social media policy as presented.
Second.
It's been moved, and supported. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Customer survey.
All right, again, this is just an opportunity for feedback. And I will start by saying our plans as a staff have changed and evolved through this process. Originally, and I think I probably communicated with this with the board, the intention was to provide more of like an à la carte menu to the board and to say, hey, what brings the most value to the board? Which topics do we want to dig into? And as we started engaging with Great Blue Research on the customer survey, certain things kind of just fell in line. Want to present where we've landed at this point. Don't want to say that the survey is 100% final by any means. We're still reviewing. This is an opportunity for feedback. Make sure we're in alignment with the board. But I will say if there are topics you want to dig into, let's talk about it. And we really just have to come down to a prioritization schedule and make sure that we're prioritizing what's most timely at this point. Because I could pick topics for the next 2 hours and come up with about a 2-hour survey. Nobody would fill it out, but if everybody would, it would be great. So I wanted to just touch on kind of some broad strokes of the survey and then get into some areas of focus. So in the past, we've done both paper and digital formats, and that's been very successful. The paper format tends to be handed out to our older demographic during walk-ins. We recognize that we're unlikely to get certain segment of the population to participate in the survey if it's only digital or if it's only on paper. So we want to try and make sure we're capturing broad customer groups. We're talking about leaving it open for roughly 4 to 6 weeks, late May through early June. Some of that will be dependent on what the responses look like. And then we're targeting between 40 and 50 questions because that equates to about an 8 to 10 minute survey. And based on the recommendations that we're getting from Great Blue Research, the point is don't go past 10 minutes or your participation will really start to wane. So thinking about the areas of focus, one of them is the APPA benchmarking. These are all the questions that are required for one, from a benchmarking perspective, they've been in our previous customer surveys, and they're also what open us up to eligible for APPA customer satisfaction awards. Customer experience, really focused in on this one because it's directly tied to our move to NISC. One of the big drivers in the move to NISC is customer experience and opening up new opportunities for our customers to do business with us. So ahead of that, we want to really dig into how do our customers want to do business with us, what's valuable to them. That way we can take this information and really promote, target our marketing efforts towards what we think will be the best received, the most widely received by our customers. So that customer experience piece is driven largely by NISC. That's a timing thing and probably isn't a part of future surveys, maybe here and there, but big driver this year. Affordability. All indications are that the election this year is going to focus a lot on affordability. It's a lot of what's driving data center type discussions. Affordability focus is not unique to any one political party either. It transcends the typical traditional political lines. So we know that we are far more affordable than the surrounding utility. But if it's going to be a hot topic item for the election, we really want to understand what are our customers' perspectives around affordability and value, and that can help us target marketing, help us curb any potential angst that might get drawn up through the election process.
Is this split up between like commercial, industrial, and residential survey questions? Because as a residential, I probably have a lot different questions than somebody in the commercial or industrial that really.
The primary focus, this is a residential survey.
Residential survey?
Yeah. And now, and you're, especially around customer experience,
Yeah,
that's one that your big commercial customers have very different needs and desires compared to you, me,
And we
anybody
have,
else.
and we have individual people
Yes,
interacting.
and-
Yeah.
yes, and we have the key accounts program.
yeah.
So we're a little
Okay.
closer to what, we're gonna figure on that pulse just a little bit more.
Yep.
Because there's fewer and we have a direct program. And then the last kind of area of focus is really based on the board's feedback from our previous surveys. The questions we always scored the lowest on were around our products and services, our programs and services. So we want to dig into that a little bit, understand what the perceptions are around it. I've said every year we've done the survey, we don't want to just have programs for the sake of having programs, but we want to make sure that we're providing value with the programs we offer, or we want to be able to communicate, why don't we have the same program and offerings as some other utilities? And the example I always use is some of the big IOUs have, 2 EV liaisons to help customers walk through the EV purchasing process. Well, they might have 2 for 2 million customers. That equates to like 10 minutes of one of our employees a year. And it's just not practical on our scale. There's certain critical mass you have to have for certain programs, but again, we want to, just because we don't want to assume we understand why we don't score as well there. So again, these are the 4 kind of focus areas that we've identified. There's a whole lot of others that were left on the cutting room floor, honestly. There's a lot of topics we'd like to get into in subsequent years. But really these were the topics that we felt were very timely for, really driven by the election, driven by NISC, and driven by the previous results of our previous surveys. So with that, happy to answer any questions, take any feedback.
I am going to take the survey this year. I'd like to do it online. Is that a PDF that you just click on your best solution? Or if you want to write comments, you just and follow along, and then when you're done, you hit submit at the end? Or do you have to print it, put it to a PDF or anything like
It'll
that?
all be digital.
Open up.
So it'll be like a survey monkey. You'll be able to click right through it.
Okay,
Here's a list of 5 questions, click next. Here's a list of other questions, click next. One of the questions that I have specifically asked for and tend to not, Great Blue Research has advised, one of the benefits, taking a step even further back, is this is all they do. They do surveys, so we're taking a lead from them. One of the things that they discouraged us with is having too many open-ended questions.
Yeah.
As they found, but one of the questions that I really wanted to include was, would you like to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody at the utility? Is there something you want to dig into with an opportunity for outreach? If somebody calls,
We have the capacity to do that.
we're gonna make capacity to do it. I mean, if you look at in the past, we've gotten about 200 responses. I would only expect 4 or 5 type of response, people asking, and I will personally make most of those, unless there's something specific. If somebody says, hey, I don't understand how to pay my bill online, somebody in the office can reach out. But if somebody wants to talk about, I don't want to assume what are important issues. So I really just want to use it as an opportunity for an invitation for a dialogue. Somebody wants to say, I want to talk about burning coal. I want to talk about renewables. I want to talk about, the LEO program, whatever it is. I want to leave it open-ended. But we don't want to get too much information on the survey. We want to say, do you want to have a conversation? Do you want to come out from behind the veil of anonymity and just engage directly?
Yeah, and if we get more people than we expect, we could probably have like a group discussion.
If all of a sudden there's 20 or 30, honestly, that tells me we need to have some sort of open house.
Yeah.
We need to have some sort of other way to communicate with these customers, or it tells me that there's a desire to engage that's not being met. I'd be surprised, but
Yeah.
I could also talk about this stuff, the stuff we do to any, I talk to the wall for the next 3 hours about this stuff. So, I'm happy to take the time to address any concerns or even, just thoughts from customers. Go ahead.
So how do we get, one question is, how do we get the word out about the survey. Meaning, again, and I'm coming from a different perspective. I'm coming from electronically challenged. I'm thinking of my mother and other people that nowadays, everybody assumes that everybody has the internet. There's a group of people that do not have the internet, that do not have, so how are we marketing the paper and pencil to get the paper and pencil form out to survey out to people?
Yeah, so luckily, we've done this a few times. One of the reasons we wanted to just do the standard basic survey for a couple of years was to figure out what works. And we've got I'd say comprehensive marketing plan based on the things that we've done in the past. And it's everything from high technology stuff, promoted social media posts, things like that, to the marquee. And I tell you, the marquee on the old theater might be the single best advertising venue I've ever had access to in my entire career. And it's amazing. You catch everybody. You catch most of the time, your marketing channels are geared towards a certain demographic. You don't put it on social media trying to find the 95-year-old, person. You don't put it in the newspaper and try to find the 20-year-old person. That marquee captures the entire gambit of people. But we have a plan. I mean, it's everything from, paper stuff. If you're likely to want to do the survey in paper, you're probably getting a paper bill. So we throw a stuffer in the paper bill. We throw a digital stuffer with the bill, the digital emails that go out. We've got plans for
Now, when you,
ledger, social media,
iPad,
front desk. So there's walk-in customers where they talk to them about it. The handouts we have. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say we've got our bases covered, but the group in the office has figured out how to. We watched. If we put something on the marquee, how many surveys did we get? Oh, you did a bill stuffer. Did we get an uptick in surveys? Oh, we did a reminder the second month. Did we get an uptick? So they've got a pretty good idea of what grabs people's attention, and we're just going to leverage our previous experience.
do we on the bill stuffers, is it a request form to do it, or is it the actual, or are we sending out the actual?
We won't send out the actual survey.
Wait for someone to contact us, either coming in or give us a call.
Okay.
We have mailed them out to people.
Yeah, we mail them out.
Drop
People
them
make
in
that.
the Dropbox.
Yeah, we've had them drop. Yeah,
Okay, I'm
dropped
just
into
curious
Dropbox.
how you do it.
Yeah.
We're probably not a good use of funds to mail out actual surveys, but we make them available. So the bill stuffer will have information.
I think it was one person.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's the other thing. So nice thing is we get some demographic that is our walk-in customers. Obviously not that entire demographic, but a good representation of certain demographics walk in, and then the rest, there's other channels to go down to make sure we're getting a diverse subsection of our customer group.
Well, one thing I'll commit is that between now and the time the survey's done, I will bring it up at every city council meeting somehow. I don't know how many people actually watch the video recording. Quite a few. I don't know how many entertain yours.
Not as many.
Yeah, so
Business of,
I'll do what I can do to promote this survey.
Yeah, we're getting out early and we're gonna start talking about it now. It's not gonna go out till late May. So
Right.
we'll talk about it at the next board meeting. We can have another update on some different marketing strategies, but one of the nice things is with the more in-depth survey, the needs of a certain number of responses from Great Wood Research. So another thing that we're looking at doing that we haven't done in years past is direct email campaigns, because we're getting more and more. I think over 2/3 of our about 2/3 of our customers are on paperless bill. So we have their email addresses, they're used to communicating with us via email. So we're confident we can snag a good number of responses to give us, I'm drawing a blank, it's not a bandwidth, but the statistical accuracy of ±5% is kind of the goal. And I'm drawing a blank on what that is. I'm looking at you.
Seems to have the synergy.
There we go. Oh, then the blank. You see it tickling your brain. You want it to.
Okay, any questions about the customer survey? Okay, moving on. E, special recognition.
All right, Julie, you ready?
Yeah.
All right.
So Mary, I'm gonna ask you to come up here, meow.
You know what this is for?
No,
This is great.
Okay.
no, I don't.
All right. So I'm not sure if you're aware, but I am aware. Next Wednesday, you celebrate 20 years on the board.
Wow.
Next Wednesday, happened to ask, so we needed to recognize that. But this is a picture Bruce Dahl took, on metal, but wanted to recognize, your 20 years of service. It's a hell of an accomplishment.
It is.
And it's not just light and power, it's been the parks, it's been the trails, it's been the arbor board, and famously Pink Arrow.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you.
So, very, thank you.
No speed, no speed. No speed.
We'll get a picture and then I'm going to be.
So wait a minute, what does it say there?
Oh, sorry.
Did you read that?
This is in appreciation of board member Perry Beecham, 20 years of dedicated service to Lowell Light and Power.
Thank you, Perry.
So I think it's interesting, when Perry started on the board, we were getting ready to sell the cable company. I actually just sold it, which is
Yeah,
why,
2006.
which is why I looked into when, I knew you said we were getting ready to sell the cable. And I was thumbing through old paperwork and realized that we sold the cable company about 20 years ago. So I emailed Sue over at the city and said, I don't know how hard it's gonna be to track this down, but we need to know when Perry started. It was a month away from 20 years, so it was, it took its timing, but
Good
I
job.
mean, it's a heck of an accomplishment.
Yeah.
The community owes you a tremendous debt of gratitude because you sure as heck didn't get rich in the last 20 years serving on this board.
Doing it all wrong.
But didn't want to put that on the agenda, wanted to surprise you, and I thought it turned out great.
Super cool.
Pretty exciting to get the opportunity to recognize you.
There's a lot of great photos that Bruce has
Yeah.
around town that he's done.
Yes.
at City
Oh
Hall.
my gosh, yeah. Sure.
But I'd like to take, so if I can, I've got some stuff I'm gonna have on the agenda, at City Council Monday.
Yes, this is one of them.
I'd love to bring this in and show
Sure.
City Council.
You gonna be there, Perry?
Guess so.
You're gonna have to, you might get hostage.
I was gonna leave that up to Perry.
Well, I just want to make sure, I was going to invite him for that. If you're gonna do a special thing, it'd be nice to have that.
But I-
We'll let you in it.
Yeah. Totally has to pay.
Okay. Here.
All right.
Bravo, Perry. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll say, if you're ready, we'll jump on to informational items.
Okay.
We've got a closed session at the end, so I'm gonna probably roll through these fairly quick. Only thing I really want to draw your attention to in the performance data or initially is you'll notice on the commercial sales graph that you're starting to see that red line get a little bit closer to the previous year. And I just wanted to highlight that a lot of that is the impact of the marijuana grow facility shutting down. We're in the process of reducing their load. So overall, things are continuing to trend as we would expect. But I did notice over the last couple of months that delta from last year to this year, or this year to last year, started to shrink a little
I'd
bit.
asked about that last time, yeah.
And they're
That was it, huh?
basically down to minimal usage at this point.
Both of them, right?
Just the one that I'm aware of right
Okay.
now, but I'm not sure about the other one. The other one's a little bit smaller.
Yes.
And wouldn't be as noticeable from a financial or sales perspective. Other than that, again, your sales graphs are your sales graphs. Happy to address them. The average cost per kilowatt hour really upticked again. And it's driven by the PCA. We'll get into the PCA here in just a second, but if you want to, next graph, cash, which I will say, cash was a slight erosion this month, but overall, based on the power supply expenses we had to have just a small dip, we're in a really good spot financially. And then moving to the last graph, unpleasant, but the PCA continues to see significant upward pressure. During the income statement, I guess I'll just jump into it. There's no great time to get into it, but part of the PCA issues are timing. You know, we talked about the windfall from the major winter storm where we were long on energy, and then we were able to run the generators, and we were able to take advantage of high market prices. So we recognized that financial gain or that financial revenue stream in the short term because it flows through market settlements, which are done on a weekly basis. But at the same time, the fuel prices were elevated during that event. And some of those fuel prices for our projects, we don't pay for those till subsequent months. So you get timing issues. And then to throw a curveball in this, typically we're used to, if you know, from it, I guess without getting too many details, you get really into the weeds, but we were counting on having some timing wise, everything hits a little bit different. And to compound things, we were expecting lower weekly invoices last month because we were expecting resources to be online. Campbell was down, Bell River was down. So when we thought we were going to be, you know, I guess from a timing perspective, I'm really struggling to explain this. I apologize. We were expecting to have lower weekly invoices, but we knew our monthly invoices were going to be high because everything because Campbell and everything shut down all at once. We were paying for high fuel prices on all of our projects, but we weren't realizing the benefit of the energy and the weekly invoices. So it's because it was down. So we ended up with a month of high weekly invoices and high monthly invoices because previous months, the monthly invoices were paying for previous month's fuel. So now next month or in the future, we will be paying for the fuel that didn't get burned last month at these facilities, and we'll see a reduction in future power supply months. But I guess the point is there are so many moving parts and timing issues, which I know we've talked, some timing issues, some expenses and benefits we realize 7 days later, some of them are the next month, some of them are 2 months down the road. So depending on which pieces are moving and when, we just got hit with a tough month where we just had a lot of expenses. Again, we expect some downward pressure on the PCA, but in the meantime, from a timing perspective, we got hit with high fuel costs because even though we operated in the real time and we made $150,000 selling our surplus energy into the market, we hadn't paid for the fuel yet. And those units are economically dispatched, so they're not going to run if it's not economical. But we don't get the full picture for 2 months because we don't know what natural gas prices specifically fluctuate in the day ahead market. You put in your nomination. So we knew it was economical to run the units, but we didn't know how much it cost us to run the units from a purely expense standpoint until 2 months down the road when the fuel invoices come in. So just want to highlight that the PCA is definitely not heading in the direction we would like to see it move. And it's, we do everything we can. It's what the stability hedge plan is for. But we're
I
not,
was gonna say, is there any other way we could address this that makes it more of a smooth line rather than what it is? I mean, I know we're responding to market stuff in a delayed time period. But that, again, allows us to recover things all in real time as much as we possibly can.
so everything's a balance. We are in that middle ground right now. And we designed the PCA calculation around the middle ground. There are some utilities that, I don't know if they still do it, but I think of one in particular that used to have a 1-month PCA. Whatever the previous month's power cost was compared to the base assumptions, that's what they had expensive units that they ran. So if they had to run their units, they'd have a $150 megawatt hour type of expense get thrown in, and you end up with these huge lumpy swings. We've chosen to go with a 6-month rolling average to try and minimize that. But if you push it out too long, then you potentially can get hit really hard all at once. And then you wouldn't collect those funds until 12 months, 14 months. So the longer you push it out, the more you run the risk of getting hit with compounding type of events that you'll end up, it's hard to get stability is really what it comes down to without doing some incredibly long time frame PCA. And if you do that, then some future generation of customers or some subsequent customer is paying for the higher price power now. So the intention behind the calculation is to help minimize things. And the other thing I would say is we're talking about raw values, and we're talking about it going from 0.012 to 0.015. So, if you look at, I'll do the math real quick. I'm not surfing the web. 0.01, where we at? 0.015 minus 0.012 times even 750 kilowatt hours. You're still only talking about $2.25 on a heavier user right now, in difference. So it looks more drastic, and I say that I don't take this lightly because we talk about our rates competitiveness a lot. We focus a lot on what our rate increases are going to be for the distribution side, but ultimately customers pay this rate increase. Customers pay the cost of power supply on top of the cost of our needs for employees, benefits, things like that. So we've tried to find that middle ground that doesn't cause huge bill fluctuations, but while also providing financial stability so that we can continue to reinvest in the system. And then I don't say the nice thing, but we're not unique in this, and it's a landscape issue. It's really tied to the broader changes in the industry. So it's
right. I guess my basic question was, is there another way? But then again, like you say, what we're seeing on this graph is dramatic, but the real world impact really isn't.
I mean, it's
terrible.
I mean, no, it's not terrible. It's meaningful. I mean, to be fair, on the average customer, the bill to change nothing could have gone up $2.25, but it's never all things are considered equal. It's this is going on, this is going on. There's other factors, there's other pressures on the bill, whether it's the new EWR rates or the low income energy assistance programs. So this is just one bill component, but it's something that it's why we stay so engaged at MPPA, why Casey's engaged, why I'm engaged. It's just one of those things that it's a shifting industry, and this is where the rubber meets the road. But there are other ways you can do it. It's just everything's a trade-off. You want to smooth it out, you're going to recover over a longer period of time, and you leave yourself exposed from a financial perspective for whatever that difference is. So I think that this is a good middle ground. But to be fair, it can be a tough pill to swallow if you're a customer too. All right. Roll on business and credit risk assessment. Put this in informational items. Previous years, we put it as an action item to take a deeper dive. I guess what I'll say, happy to dive into it with anybody, but this has all been, all been seen before. We've taken the deep dive. There's not a ton of changes. Couple things I want to just remind the board. We go through a credit rating agency that we use is Standard & Poor's. And they've basically said you can't improve your credit rating just based on your size and limiting factors. You're as good as you can get without sitting on just a boatload of cash, which is not a good business practice. So really what I look at is, are we getting better? Are we at minimum staying stable? And what you'll see is slight improvements each area. And really what I want to drive, what I think is the most impressive is if you scroll down to the bottom of the next page under rate affordability. One of the things I like to highlight is cost competitiveness and rate affordability compared to our surrounding utility. I'm happy to report that we are 28% lower for residential customers, 16% lower for commercial customers, 15% lower for industrial customers. That equates to millions of dollars a year. That is not a small amount of money that is kept in our customers and the community's pockets. And that 28% lower is before the large rate increase that is getting a lot of media attention. So that number will grow significantly between now and the next time we do it as well. So just wanted to highlight that specifically. It also, I think the other thing that's important to remember is we're staying competitive from a rate perspective without sacrificing reliability, without sacrificing our investments back into the system. Every year we have a robust capital projects list, and we continue to deliver value on reliability as much as we do on rate affordability. So those two things have to work together. If somebody says they've got the lowest rates in the state or something, you gotta ask, what's the reliability look like? Because a lot of times low rates don't equate to high reliability. It's a lot of times it's at the expense of reliability. So happy to report that we continue to stand out in a good way from a reliability standpoint and from a rate affordability standpoint. But happy to dig into this. Again, we've seen this before, the scorecards at the end. But ultimately we're limited by our size and our customer makeup. Some of our biggest risks are in customer concentration, and we're doing what we can to mitigate those risks through key accounts programs and just engaging with our customers. With that, we'll move on to the outage report.
Yeah.
Zach,
So we actually had 2 outages last month. One on the 500 block Chatham had some secondary wires burn up. I don't know, some squirrels running on them for the last 30, 40, 50 years. And then we also had a cutout break on Bowes Road. So we fixed that one, both relatively short outages. So it's all good. We've also had, since this was put out, had a pole get hit on at Kaiser's again. We replaced it in literally this time in 2024. So we replaced it again. We had Grand Haven come in with a digger truck and help us set the pole because it was much easier with 2 poles. This also happened while everybody was on spring break. So there's very limited resources at the shop.
You pass that cost on to the guy that hit the pole and
Yeah.
break it? That's
Yeah, we hope to get more than 2 years out of a pole.
I understand.
Yeah, we reach out to the police department. They share the police report, and we just bill insurance for it.
Okay.
When that when that happens, I mean, so do you call Grand Haven directly or do you ask for mutual aid in Grand Haven?
So,
I mean, how does that work?
so I was in Cancun. So I did not have phone access at that time.
Okay,
But yes, like if we were to want a mutual aid event, I would reach out to Steve Broomsma at Zealand, Holland. And then Steve is our regional coordinator.
so he
Then he would reach everything out. I tell him what I need, what I want, and then he tells me what he has. And we pick what we want from that, and we go from there.
This one worked a little different, but.
Yeah, this one worked
It's
similar but different.
Yeah, at its core, it was about getting.
Yeah.
Somebody in touch, somebody here, boots on the ground, in touch with Steve, and Steve as
Yeah.
the mutual aid coordinator handles getting everything organized.
As you know, close friends with Kaiser's. Kaiser's, could not say enough good things about the Lowell Light and Power, but not so much about AT&T. Because AT&T is on that pole and.
Yeah, I'm not gonna touch that question.
So,
Stand by your report, right?
Yeah. I get it.
You better move on.
Alrighty, so we'll jump in the income statement, just highlight that, year to date, where we continue to trend in a healthy location or a healthy spot. I'll draw your attention to the power supply, being, just under 200,000 hours over budget, for the month. Again, I was talking about the timing, but to have a power supply bill that high and only finish the month with a negative net income of just under $50,000, we're in a really healthy spot. We do anticipate certain months are going to be negative net income. The goal is not because of timing issues, the goal is not to have positive net income every month. It's to finish the year with a healthy net income. So while it looks like a loss for the month, it's nothing abnormal, and really with the unexpected power supply expenses of the month, it was a healthy month.
Very good.
Capital projects, I don't have much to add here this month. The only thing I'll say is be on the lookout for this stuff to ramp up. I just paid an invoice that was a hefty invoice to boring contractors, but we're moving. Zach and the guys are getting things locked up, but those are going to start falling. So I would expect to see more activity in the capital budget report. The only thing I will remind the board is the undergrounding project, the Little G Drive project, has been pushed out to next fiscal year due to boring delays and some things outside of our control. So that one you won't see any movement on that. But there will be quite a bit of movement on the other projects. If you drive down West Main Street, you're likely to see our guys somewhere, whether it's at Nirvana or Calvary Church or Center Street or
Sibley Street.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff over 1800 West Main.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different projects going on over there. Ultimately, they will all culminate in being able to remove all of the infrastructure on Main Street, which is going to be a good day. It's a lot of aging infrastructure that needs some attention.
When are we gonna underground by Kaiser's?
Just that one intersection.
That will be never.
Yeah. About to invest in a concrete bollard.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
That's capital budgets report. Like I said, happy to answer any questions, but again, we have a closed session at the end that may go long. So just happy to stop at any topic, but if not, we'll keep on rolling. Zach, I'll hand it over to you.
So I do want to just highlight a couple things. We sent the guys up to Alpena and Mutual Aid. They did a lot of great work up there, sent a lot of people on. They were up there for 7 days, I think, 6 or 7, maybe 8, I don't know, somewhere in there. And then they came back and immediately went to the Lyman Rodeo that following Thursday.
Wow.
So they went up, I believe, on a Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, or no, Sunday or Monday, and then came back on a Sunday
Mhm.
at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then that following Thursday, they went to the Lyman Rodeo.
And drove.
And they had to drive.
I bailed on them, had a
It happened.
family situation out in, Denver.
Yep.
Uh,
It's part of it.
was planning on coming back and, driving the trailer and equipment down, and I spent the Monday night, taking my granddaughter to ER, and we were there till the sun came up. And so it was like, I'm not driving back to Lowell on no sleep and then turn around and, so the light power, I had told Charlie what was going on Sunday morning, and we had plans, and then they had a backup plan that worked out.
Mhm.
It did work out.
It did.
We're going, man, that's what, the guys are real good about making things work.
Yeah.
That's the, that sums up the alignment. Make it work.
Being a mutant line.
Yeah, yes.
Especially. Yeah, so we also had straight line boring. I just can't say enough about straight line. This has been an amazing partnership with those guys. Their crews do amazing work. They do it the right way. They don't hit stuff. I say that, I just jinxed them, but they do things very correctly.
Yeah.
Then the rodeo, I just like to thank you guys for letting us go. That was an awesome time. Our trailer butted up. It was next to the Navajo Nation trailer.
Wow.
And we actually helped them set and replace some of their tools for the couple of events. We ended up borrowing a couple tools from them. They ended up borrowing a couple tools from us. So it was a little chaotic during there. We're like, hey, you finish this one, and then once you're done, we're gonna give you this, and you give us that. So there was a little bit of, we helped each other out a lot.
Did you get excited about possibly going to the Navajo Nation?
Yeah, I would love to go. They would love to have us.
We've had some conversations already.
Yeah, there's definitely some conversations on that, but yeah, it was just awesome. It was great time. Learned lots of things, met lots of great people. It was just a very good experience. I want to thank you guys for that.
I was gonna ask you, how was your drone flying experience?
The drone flying experience
Did you feel
was
nervous?
pretty wild.
Or what?
No,
How'd you think?
not at all.
Not at all, huh?
You can literally fly that drone head first in the lines at 100 miles an hour, and it will lock up the brakes and not hit that line.
Wow.
It's wild. And I was in, obviously, Huntsville, Alabama,
Right.
and the drone was stationed at this guy's house in, I think, St. Pete, Tampa area. And like, he had it already mapped out to where if we don't want him flying in certain spots, they'd make this like hexagon where you can't fly there. And they had way more than what we would ever need and want, but it was pretty sweet. I mean, fly a drone that's 3 states away, 2 states away.
Mhm.
I mean, lots of hours away, and it did. The response was immediate. Like there was no delayed response. It was
Now
you
you,
touch something.
and now you know how they feel over the war with the drones are using to chase a human.
Like it's right in front of you. I mean,
Yeah.
it's wild to be completely honest with you. But like we flew it up to a transformer in front of this guy's house and zoomed in, could read the name tag
Yeah.
from Huntsville, Alabama.
Mhm.
That was pretty sweet.
This
So-
one wasn't done over fiber optic, was it?
No,
No, because I seen that.
this was, I think, a Starlink one. I think
Okay.
it was connected through Starlink. But yeah, that gets onto that's all kind of in the ENO conference of this, but that's all I had. So
Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
yeah, it was wild.
Now time.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Casey, on to you.
I'll stand up.
Stand by my report. All right, and we will hand it over to Julie.
Yeah, so, a few things to highlight. I had, the picture of Lisa's
new addition, earlier, and I can have it after the meeting's done. But we definitely are very happy for Lisa and her husband, Rick, and the new baby. But we definitely are,
Missing her.
yeah, stretched thin. So, which happens with all maternity leaves, but, we'll be glad when she comes back. We are all filling in and trying to figure it out. But, we'll definitely be glad when she comes back. So, and the rest of it kind of explains everything. So that's all.
All right, I will jump in, to the manager's report. I'm gonna shift gears here in just a minute to focus on MPPA, but I'll kind of come back to that. Only other thing I want to note is, I don't know if I put it in there. Oh, yeah, I did. Last week, while I was on vacation, I was able to chime in and participate in the MPPA board meeting from Florida, which was nice. Changes to the Open Meetings Act allowed us to participate. But it's the August, or the, oh, geez, August got the first letter right. The April board meeting each year is the annual meeting for MPPA. New election, or includes election of officers, all that. And I was selected by my peers to serve as the chair of the MPPA board. So,
Thanks.
fun.
How long is that
It's an annual,
till?
2 year.
it's a 1-year term, but it's like our board, where it reorganizes at the annual meeting or once a year, but there are no term limits or anything. And historically, the chair is a multi-year type of position. Continuity is important, especially at MPPA, where we're just going to be going through some transitions over the next couple of years. So, yeah, look forward to serving, and it's an honor to be selected by peers. And my hand didn't get put down fast enough. So, there you go.
That's what you get for not being there in person.
I knew it was coming. It was orchestrated ahead of time.
Oh, okay.
Other than that, the only thing I want to highlight is we have made a job offer, and it's been accepted for a journeyman line worker. Paul Warnett, lives within our 30-minute response time actually already. Journeyman lineman, and he starts on Monday. So excited to have Paul join us. He's coming from Portland. So we've worked with him. We know Paul really well. It's a good fit. Communicated with Portland the whole time. So it was not a surprise.
So they're not all.
No, I'm very, very close with the manager over in Portland, Todd. We sit on a lot of boards together, and it's important to make sure we are transparent throughout the process, because we don't typically, the circumstances with this hire were unique enough that it was a good fit for everybody. Normally, we wouldn't hire a journeyman line from another community, but in the circumstances, it made sense. Other than that, thought it was awesome. Every year we meet with the loss prevention officer for our workers' comp, and every year they're supposed to find something to suggest that you change or make updates. In previous years, there's always been some little minor thing like, hey, you have something up against the wall. It's not required, but if you put a chain around it, it would. And we did a big walkthrough, and our loss prevention officer said, "You guys are doing a great job. Thank you." So that's always a great accomplishment. Zach, a lot of it's Zach Casey, the stuff that goes on down here that they want to look at. And yeah, it's a great accomplishment to have somebody like that come in and go, I enjoy coming in here. I appreciate the way you guys approach things. And I know that we'll do our walkthrough, but it's somewhat a formality.
Did he thank you for putting down mats or slipping balls?
We didn't tell them that if they weren't there.
Made
they were.
improvement.
Yeah, we made the improvement. Couple of reminders, Lyman Appreciation, the Chambers, Marty and Lori Chambers are hosting their annual Lyman Appreciation Dinner this Saturday at 5. I think emails have gone out. I be honest, we're stretched thin, and Lisa normally does all that, and I'm not sure what all that sent out, honestly. If it hasn't hit your radar and you're available on Saturday, obviously we'd love to see you there.
The time is from
starts at 5, right?
Five?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
5 till,
So
5
Bruce,
till when you choose to.
Fine.
So this Saturday, the 18th?
Yes.
They need RSVPs.
I already kind of talked to Lori about this is how many employees, so I don't think,
There's never been a shortage.
no.
No.
Well, I just.
But if you know, yes, I
If
can
you-
definitely.
yes.
If
We'd
you
love to
know
know.
for sure, I can
Your
definitely
heater
add.
is real cool.
I would say, wouldn't be the first time we got out a heater, the live appreciation of it.
Right?
Yeah.
Or some fence.
Or tents, and Harry's been more than once said, I'll be right back.
That's,
Goes into that trailer and starts hauling things up.
that's kind of the chambers, the couple to do that.
Oh, Marty and Lori are fantastic. I love that it's such an awesome thing that
Yeah,
they do.
so appreciative that they do that.
Yeah, and it's always a great time.
Yeah.
Ryan will be there as well, I believe. and
Ooh, all
RSVP, So, I know you all don't get a chance to see Ryan as much as we do. Still get to chat with him quite a bit. As long as he's not traveling around the country somewhere.
That's right.
Other announcements, the first road cleanup event of the year is actually gonna be canceled. It's scheduled for April, but if you're not aware, Alden Nash is closed, and the county just said, if construction's going on, don't go walk through a construction site to clean up trash. And then also in my manager's report, I mentioned, we're actually all trees have been reserved at this point. I
Wow,
believe.
bravo.
Tree giveaway. I think trees were gone in 2 days, 3 days. But the pickup event will be May 2nd from 9 to 11 here. We have plenty of help, but it's always great if board members want to show up. The more the merrier. Harry and I worked it 1 year, handed dog treats out to the dogs. That was our contribution.
Yeah.
It's a fun event. It's short. It's very quick, and it's a lot of fun. So.
What kind of trees you giving away this year?
This year we
Red
have
maple.
a maple, a magnolia, and a Charles Jolly lilac.
Mhm.
The tree species this year, we had to go back and ask for some more options. But it's a good,
Time of the year, right?
yeah, so good program. It's been very successful every year that we've done it. And we expect it to be another winning year.
The
So,
tree that my neighbor planted on our property line is doing well. It probably grew 2 feet,
really, on the property line.
right on the property. Well, I told him it was okay. We had a big old, what do you wanna call it? Wow, black walnuts that came down when that truck was driving around town. Anyways, yeah, we put it in that general area.
Okay.
Yep, so it's doing well.
Nice.
It's one success story.
All right. And then the last thing I really want to stress upon, I mentioned in my manager's report, how you go. So this is a slide that I stole from MPPA, and it's part of their board meeting to the Board of Commissioners, but really want to keep the board apprised of all of the activities related to and this has a lot of acronyms, the BTMG ownership analysis and MPPA project creation. This all has to do with the behind the meter. BTMG is behind the meter generation. So we've talked a lot about Casey evaluating natural gas supply, talking about adding generation. It all rolls up into this one strategic initiative from MPPA, where MPPA is looking at multiple member host communities to site behind the meter generation. And I'm happy to take a deeper dive into why, what the technologies they're looking at, why behind the meter, why not in front of the meter, what all the rationales are. We've touched on it a little bit. But MPPA is basically taking time out of every board meeting to provide us with updates. And I want to take a similar approach, assuming there's valuable updates to provide you all. But right now, it all is leading up in the preliminary activities, which ultimately, like I said, I'll keep the board updated on all the activities, but it's really, the majority of those items are MPPA's deep dive, working with those member communities. But what I want to focus on is this decision point number 1 on the far right. This is a board decision point, and ultimately by the end of the year, getting towards fourth quarter, MPPA is going to be looking for community support to continue evaluating and continue down the path of, adding generation behind the meter. And just to be, there's different technologies right now. They're looking at vendor and technology assessments, but, I think that what we're focusing a lot of our evaluation on is, natural gas reciprocating internal combustion engines, RICE engines. There's a lot of reasons for that, but largely this is a capacity play. This is not an energy play. It's really to address a major capacity shortfall that the agency is going to be experiencing in 2030, around the 2030 timeline. It's a very tight timeline, and this project is absolutely critical. Maybe the most important strategic initiative that MPPA is dealing with right now, because it's the capacity shortfall is so significant in 2030, and the market is just not liquid. You used to pick up the phone and say, I need to purchase some capacity for this planning year, and somebody was always on the other end of the line to pick up and sell it to you. Normally, you're used to seeing, oh, well, as that resource becomes more and more scarce, as the supply side drains, the price goes up, which we've seen the price continuously tick up. But the price can only tick up so far before there is no liquidity in the market. And if there's no liquidity in the market, then we have no other choice but to go to the planning reserve auction and expose ourselves to an auction clearing price, which auction clearing price is going to be very high. So we will, obviously there's no decision points today. We're months out, but we want to spend 5-6 months continuing to revisit this topic every month. I want to have MPPA come in, Steve or Pat or somebody from MPPA come and talk to the board directly about the project. But I can't underscore the importance of this project enough, and want to make sure the board is comfortable and understands the decision points that you're ultimately going to be faced with. It really starts with this first decision point coming later this year of just MPPA just be looking for member boards to confirm support for adding local generation, so here on site. And then agree to continue to fund the analysis, which we've been funding through the initial steps of this. Obviously, tons more details need to be worked out, need to be presented to the board, but like I said, just want to take time each month to make sure the board's comfortable with this decision, and decision point, make sure that there are no delays in the project that come from just a lack of awareness or a lack of questions being answered or a lack of your concerns being addressed. So we want to just continue with that dialogue. If I don't have answers, which I probably won't on the initial end, because there's still a lot to vet out. But again, it all comes down to, we want to make sure that you are comfortable come December 30th making a decision. So
I'm always getting ahead of myself. So the decision, and I'm just thinking of some things that we've done in the past, like when we to fix this building up and doing different things. So is it solely on the board, or we have to make the recommendation to the city and the city has to be on board also?
it'll depend. If we are taking debt out under our name, that has to go through city council. If it's an MPPA project, MPPA owns the debt, the decision is here locally. With that being said, I would expect a broader stakeholder engagement process. And we would obviously want city council to be informed of the decision, make sure city council is supportive. But it's ultimately a decision, I think, that will land with this board. Unless we need to choose to take on debt, and then we need city council approval to take on the debt.
Fair enough.
And then we got some pictures.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, so it's another busy month. I like these first pictures. Big outage. We had 0 customers out. Consumers had them out left, right, up, down. It was nice. And then we got a shout out from the Lowell Performing Arts Center because the pictures also show, the one on the left there shows that the high school is out. But it was when the high school was doing Chicago and they made sure to put it on Facebook that they had power. The only thing we would have made it better is if they had tagged us directly
Yeah.
and said, thank you, Light and Power. But
Yeah.
I think our social media trial was down.
Yes.
No customers were out, but employees were out.
Yeah.
I'll say a couple of employees that were out, I think, we didn't lose power to it, but.
There's just extension cords from the
Yeah.
generator.
Yeah.
I know Andrew's son was part of the musical, so definitely was, I felt very honored that was us.
Yes, oh, it's awesome. Julie sent me a picture, a screenshot. That's the greatest thing I've seen in a long time. And then the thing on the bottom right there is an ad in the, I don't know what
Playbill.
they call them playbills, I wasn't sure, but it was we really made a concerted effort to try and support a very broad variety of groups, organizations, student activities in the community. And one of the things I wanted to support, and with Julie's help, really wanted to support the group that puts on the plays. They do a great job. And a lot of times it's easy to write a check for Little League and all that, and we happily do. These are the opportunities you got to seek out to be diverse. And if you look at the list of benevolence checks that we've written this year, it's pretty cool group, a very diverse group, but to have the everything from robotics, performing arts, Little League, high school football, girls lacrosse.
Yeah.
Do
you guys put any of that in their yearbooks, like the high school yearbooks?
We never put an ad in high school yearbook.
Do they still see those ads?
Remember?
Oh, yeah, back in the day, yeah, you get,
Because I'll look at it and go, oh my God.
it might be $200, you get your business card put in there. Yeah, but I don't know if they're still doing that.
I haven't seen, but
Yeah.
I look back at mine and I laugh at it. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a debonair shop.
Oh.
I think they still sell ads.
I'll say we can take a look. That'd be a good place to play.
That's
I like the timeliness, like the timelessness of it.
Yeah, you could put like a business card and get a full page ad, whatever you felt like contributing. Yeah.
So other than that, we're currently this week kicked off job shadowing. So Zach and Jared went to, it's like a career day, but they call it something different. But it's at the middle school, and they also have kids right now, high school kids doing job shadowing. But I've seen a great uptick every year. Seeing more and more interest, which is great. A group of us participated in the Lowell Expo. Thought that was a ton of fun. Thank you all for joining me for that. It's a fun event. We get to hang out with city folks. Come and hang out.
Yeah,
It was always a good
It
time.
was a long day though.
It's a long day.
It was really packed. I was really impressed, and you can't have enough giveaways.
Go ahead. No.
It's amazing. I used to but it's amazing the time that you spend getting set up is hours, if not days. Tear down, 15 minutes and everything's gone. They've had it at the time when it's, you can tear down. Everybody's had enough.
Look at, oh, they're tearing down. I'm gonna start.
I didn't know how many, I was curious how many different shirts I was gonna see you in.
Just the two,
Just the two.
showboat in the city. I was gonna put on my vest for low line power.
I was thinking about giving you a Friends of the Flat t-shirt too.
Were you gonna give me one? $20.
As a group at this table, well represented throughout. We have Friends of the Flat, Fallisburg Historic Society, Showboat, the city, Light and Power. Yeah, it was a good event. Always fun to do. And then there's some pictures of the line Line Worker Rodeo.
Yeah.
And what's really neat, they turn this into a quilt every year. They take all the shirts and turn them into a quilt. If you'll notice,
I don't know if that-
that's our shirt.
Oh,
That's our shirt.
Oh.
These two are our shirt, but
Name next to it's our shirt.
it-
That one's our shirt.
yeah, so,
Red one is our
yeah,
shirt.
that's what year.
And the one on the far right is our shirt too.
That-
Just the red.
Just that kind of edge.
do you auction
So what
it?
they raffle it.
They raffle out, they
Yeah.
say, raffle it up, that's awesome.
But-
That is cool.
Very cool. Then there's mutual aid pictures. They got absolutely pummeled.
Yeah.
One awesome picture too. The low light power truck on Lowell Avenue.
Okay.
Mhm.
And local business owner, shout out to Steve Steffen, owner of Culver's.
Oh, yeah.
I made an announcement at a chamber thing, just announced that we had crews helping in Alpena. And he stopped by 20 minutes later and said, my brother lives in Alpena. And so he saw your truck and he wanted to buy the guys who were up there dinner. So he dropped off some vouchers for
Wow.
some Culver's. So
So,
Wow.
and, former Lois Stephens that lived here, lives up there, and she put something on, I was told, she put something on Facebook or whatever,
Okay, nice.
thanking, Lowell Light Power.
Yeah.
Very nice.
awesome. And that is the manager's report and pictures and,
Nope, there's one more. Sorry.
oh, is there, oh yeah, there was one more. There's the Kaiser pole changeout, which we talked about.
Yeah.
And then the mutual aid coming in from Grand Haven to help out.
Yeah.
So, busy month. Yes, so the April 22nd Adopt a Road has been canceled. That decision was just made
Yeah,
yesterday, I believe.
was.
When you say they're closing the road, is it closing it both ways or?
Yeah.
it's completely shut down?
From Seguin.
And-
Oh, you gotta take Seguin out the Cascade?
Yeah.
And it's, my son lives
Yeah,
on.
cause he dug something up a few, was it your son that dug up that? driveway?
Oh, that was the fiber.
Okay, all right, then we dug up something.
But it took him, over a half hour to get to the expressway, to go into work
Yes.
on Monday.
Okay.
He's going past Seguin.
You might wanna take this out to
Cascade and
Portland.
around.
I think that is now open to construct, that's 96 is down, so, but Portland will get you past the
I'll
construction.
get, I'm heading to Lansing tomorrow, so apparently I'll be leaving a little bit earlier.
Just
Don't
go,
go that way.
let's go 21 to 66 and.
You're good.
Yeah, scheduled meetings, that's everything except for until we get down to the closed session, so I guess I go with it.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing labor negotiations.
I would like to make a couple comments, because I'm not gonna stick around for that part of it. The city will be working on the budgets over the next 2 weeks. We had some, open to the public, we had some private, we had some one-on-ones. I think Charlie will be attending that too. I don't know exact the dates, but like once the 28th rings ahead.
I believe it's a month, it's a Tuesday at 5, I know.
Yeah.
I believe it's the 28th. Yes, I've got it on my
Yeah,
calendar.
so anyways, that is coming on up, so hopefully we need to get that approved, so we can get it in before the fiscal year starts on that part of it, so we'll be working on that quite a bit. And then we also got something coming up, I'm trying to get a monster truck for them too, but we have a touch of truck coming on,
Yes,
yeah, in July, so, that's through KDL. And I know you guys will be there, I'll be there with a boat stamp this year, I'll be doing the boat so the kids can touch a boat.
oh, fun.
And then I got, Mark Munt's gonna bring his 1908, whatever, his car.
Model T.
Model T, so that kids can touch that and sit in that as well, so it's exciting coming on.
It was a great event last year.
And I think I got a monster truck coming for the kids,
That's really cool.
so we'll see what
I'll bring the
happens.
kids.
So that's all I got, and if you need anything from the city, let me know, and, we'll see what I can do for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you don't want to hang out, Jim?
No,
You'll be riveted.
no, I
Before-
wouldn't ask you guys to stay in our closed session.
Before you,
Maybe you, maybe you.
before you leave, have the rest of the board make comments so that you hear them.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I should have put that in a different.
That's all right,
I
that's all
didn't
right.
think about it, so,
Well, usually, because sometimes you make comments after you,
yeah.
Yeah.
when we still, so
Oh,
Andrew,
yeah.
any?
Yeah, so sorry for being late, but was coaching tennis today, and you know, funny fun fact about that, as I turned around and I saw Casey. What are you doing here?
That's what he said. That's right.
One of the 60 kids that are playing
Nice.
tennis, middle school tennis,
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
which I think we're like by far the biggest team in our league.
Mhm.
Um,
Great.
but yeah, and then you alluded to earlier, the other random coincidence, I'm sitting down to watch the musical, and right in front of me is Julie. I was like, how are you here? You know, like, oh, your
Yeah.
son's got a friend in the play.
Mhm. Yeah.
But yeah, it was
Awesome.
small,
Small,
kind of neat, but yeah, just lots of small world kind of thing, just seeing,
Mhm.
you know,
awesome.
all the folks around here who are out and about. And,
Right.
It's an incredibly public power comment.
Yeah.
It's a very public power.
And then lastly, I just wanted to thank you for 20 years of
I've
sitting
enjoyed it.
here.
I've enjoyed
Every
it.
month
And
for hours
hopefully
on
there's
end.
another 20 years ahead.
Yeah, that's an impressive amount of time to spend on board. It's good to have that stability. Thank you.
Tina,
I'd like to apologize for myself being late. My granddaughter was doing softball, so I had to swing by work and pick her up. It was a
Family first.
Family first, and I appreciate that. I do want to tell everybody that works at Lowell Power that I really appreciate you guys being others to have. I really appreciate it. That's it.
Daniel,
Say congrats to Lisa, and Charlie for making the MPPA,
Mhm.
board chair. Awesome. Yeah. And,
20 years ago.
So I grew my beard out last week on vacation. I don't need any more gray hair.
didn't know you had it then. Yeah, and under the benevolence, Charlie, I got in touch with Charlie about supporting the Bushnell PTO, and just wanted to highlight that they passed along, gratitude for that, and just another, I think, good decision as us as a board to let Charlie kind of run with that a little bit more than we did maybe in the past. Yeah.
Craig,
Congratulations to Lisa and her family. Congratulations, Perry, on 20 years. And yeah, I'm sure we'll have you for another 20, easy, maybe 25, right?
that's right. My mother's 98.
I mean,
And still driving and still living on her own.
Didn't she hit that Kaiser's pole?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's thanks to everybody for what they do here at Lowell Power. And saw today again, how hard you guys work for us. So thanks.
Thank you for the recognition. I enjoy it. I like volunteering, and 'cause that's basically what it is. And with the rest of the board, I think we have a great board. And so that makes it easy too. There is, I know one is canceled, but the Trails is having a cleanup on Saturday, April 25th. Down at 9 o'clock at the pavilion by the Cherry Creek.
Yeah, G Drive and Foreman.
Yeah, yep, 9 o'clock. So, and all you have to do is just show up. The other is, I'm gonna mention, just because I want people to know, because it was brought up a little bit about vandalism. So the First Congregational Church, it's who's gonna outlast who, I guess. So weekly, they go out and purchase new flags for, help me out, Dale.
Right.
Pride.
Yep.
And every week they're stolen. And, so and what the church says is, we support everybody. We support those that have stolen the flags, but it's been going on for, I'm gonna say 6-8 weeks. That,
Get some field cams out there.
well, they're working on different things, but, so, my wife, is, a leader in that church, and, just a shout out, if you know something's going on, let somebody know. There's no need for it. I guess, and with that, thanks for going. I believe it's the rodeo is important, to us. It puts Lowell on the map. Just like you saw on that quilt that they do every year, that we donate a couple shirts to that, and it says a lot about, the shirts. If you have ever gone, I'm assuming they're still doing the same thing. I think the hats are coming into it a little bit, but
Hats are pretty into it.
But at the banquet, so you do the rodeo and then the banquet at night, and all the linemen trade shirts with the other linemen. And the last few years, our shirts have been one of the most wanted.
They've been very sought after.
Very sought after. So that's pretty neat. And I wish I was there, because I think the experience of you being next to the Navajo Nation, I think it's something that we have to figure out, something that we want to do. It's hard to imagine people here in the United States not having power. And on the Navajo Nation, there are people that don't have power. And you think about that, that means food, refrigeration, medicines that have to be refrigerated. I mean, just think of your own situation that if you didn't have power. And the APPA has taken a role of lighting up the Navajo Nation. And we, meaning Lowell Light Power, other companies that have gone and helped out, you get so much more appreciation. So it lifts your heart.
Yeah, to that, we talked to them about the Navajo Nation, and we talked to some guys that sent crews there, and they came back changed people. So one of the things to be qualified to get electricity ran to your house or start the process is you can't have dirt floors anymore. So that's the bare bones basics.
And there are people who are regularly disqualified.
Yeah.
The fact that it has to be a requirement could be very.
They moved that to the first one because that's like
Is that a grounding
that-
issue? I'm not me saying it literally, but because if you're on the ground and you got a ground rod in the.
I think it's more just the fact that the house has to meet certain minimum requirements.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of other people from other
stuff. And like, so it's all in a trust. And mind you, this Navajo Nation is the size of, it's actually bigger than West Virginia, is the landscape size. So, they have to go, if it's under a mile, they can get the building process permitted in a year. If it's over a mile, it's 10 to 15 years.
So anyway, it's something that I would wholeheartedly, as a board member, support. The other is, we also have a lineman that is expecting a child. And isn't that coming up any,
June.
Don't put me on the spot.
huh?
This one, she'll know.
Oh, you're
I better not be.
Oh, June?
Based on measurements and stuff, probably Mayish.
Oh, wow.
So the low light and power family is growing.
Yes.
And with that, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing labor negotiations under MCL 15.2681C.
So moved.
Charlie, this is for you. I'll be making my
Supported.
yearly pilgrimage to go trout fishing in Wisconsin. So let me know what you need for spotted cow. Anybody else wants some spotted cow, let me know and I'll bring it back.
So it's been moved and supported. Roll call.
Yep. All right, Chairperson Beecham.
Yes.
Vice Chair Fonger.
Yes.
Board Member Troutman.
Yeah.
Board Member Crawford.
Yes.
Board Member Cadwalder.
Yes.
All right,
Okay, we'll be going into closed session.
can we take 5 minutes?
Mhm.
Actually, money break. All right, we're out of closed session and we're recording again.
Next regular board meeting is May 12th. I do have one comment. I was out at gas station in the corner of Virgin's in Lincoln Lake, and I had my logo hat and low light and power and everything, and an employee there said, "Do you work for low light and power or anything?" And I said, "No, I'm a board member." And she said, "Well, my mom used to work at low light and power." And I went, "And who's that?" And it was Gail Dawson's daughter. And it made me proud to be a part of low light and power people. So, I mean, there's a reason that we wear those logos and everything out there. So it's just, it's a good thing.
Daniel's got a beanie too, so when it gets cold again, we have light power beanies.
Nice.
All right,
Thank you.
motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Oh,
It's been moved and supported. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. There's that.